So you're familiar with stocks, and lately you've been interested in perhaps looking into real estate, but you're unsure of what that really even means and how to get started. Well, this was my exact position some years ago, so I can definitely relate. I was a 20-plus year career professional that always invested my money directly into our 401k and the stock market. And that's what I was always told was the right thing to do. But I had always wondered, what is it about real estate? I knew that there were some very wealthy people, wealthy families that invested in real estate and did well with it, but I wasn't really quite sure how that worked and what that meant. Well, fast forward to today, and I'm still invested in stocks and I still have my career, but I've also really heavily invested in my education and exposure to people who live and breathe real estate to better understand this whole area. And I've really gotten involved in a number of different areas in real estate, and I want to share some of that with you. Now, if you're watching this video, you're probably pretty familiar with stocks, but it's the real estate piece you're kind of wondering about. Well, real estate isn't quite as easy to invest in as, say, stocks and bonds. I mean, Wall Street has developed an entire industry around making it easy to buy and sell stocks. There are many exchanges around the world, like the New York Stock Exchange. There are many online brokerage companies like E-Trade and Fidelity and others that you can use to put money into to buy and sell stocks and bonds very easily. So they make it very, very simple for you to do that. And our entire retirement system is based on the 401k, which again is really focused on stocks. So getting involved in real estate takes a bit more work and a bit more research, but it's definitely doable. Real estate does not have any large national online platforms, say, to buy and sell homes or properties. It just doesn't exist. And there's no exchange houses, nothing like that, like stocks have. But in my view, that's not a bad thing because, frankly, a lot of the opportunities that you can find through real estate, if you look, might be only available to just a handful of people because you were the ones that actually put in the work to find it. So you could potentially find some really great opportunities in real estate that just aren't available to the general public because they're not on these huge sites, so to speak. One of the great things about real estate investing for people like me and potentially like you that at one time were 100% stocks and bonds is that you get to diversify. Now, within stocks, you can diversify too, as you probably know. There are large cap stocks, there are small cap stocks, domestic stocks, international stocks, growth stocks, even sector stocks where there's specific sectors that are being focused on. So there's a bunch of different categories of stocks that are all fairly different, but they're all still stocks. You're still owning a piece of a company. Real estate is also very diverse as well. You've got residential real estate, which are typically homes that perhaps you purchased your own home, so you know about that. But there's also commercial real estate, which consists of a bunch of different types of real estate. There's multifamily, where people actually live in apartments, let's say. There's industrial, like warehouses and factories. There's retail, shopping malls and strip malls. And there are even more nuanced commercial real estate categories, like, say, cell phone towers or data centers. There's a bunch of different types of real estate that are also pretty diverse within the real estate realm. I think it's a great idea to invest both in stocks and in real estate and diversify your portfolio. There are even companies that own and run real estate that have shares of stock that you can buy as a stock. And those are called REITs. And I happen to own REITs as well. So it's kind of an in-between between stocks and real estate in a way. But you don't get the benefits that real estate provides when you do that. But it's still, another option for you to look into. So let's say you're ready to get started, you want to get into this real estate game. There are a number of ways to do it. First, one of the most common ways that I've seen people get involved is to buy a single family home and rent it out. Now, renting it out can mean a number of different things. There's something called long-term rentals where you're renting it for, say, 12 months or 2 years. That's a traditional rental model that most of us are familiar with, signing a 1-year lease or a 2-year lease, for example. We kind of all know what that is. But there are also other approaches, like something called midterm rentals, where you're renting, say, for 30 days or 60 days, and even short-term rentals, where you could be renting it just for a weekend. Those are all different approaches to renting a single-family home. My wife and I have residential real estate properties, and we rent them out using the long-term rental model and also the short-term rental model. And I can say, after having experience in both of these models, that the short-term rental model can definitely make you more income, but it definitely takes much more work. So there's some pros and cons to this as well. If you're interested to learn more about short-term rentals, I created a video which you can check out right up here. Now, depending on the wealth you have and the time you have available to you, and the time you want to invest in it, you can purchase something larger than a single family home, say a duplex or a fourplex where there's 4 units in a building. Even an 8-person small apartment complex you could buy perhaps. But just note that these approaches definitely take more work, especially if you're doing it on your own. And that might not be something that you're interested in. Hey, real quick, are you liking this video? Please click the like button so YouTube knows that this video is valuable and will share it with other immigrant investors. Now, back to the video. If you have a busy career and family life, there are ways to get involved in real estate investing without spending a bunch of time doing it. For example, you can be part of a team that purchases a property that's larger than perhaps one that you could buy on your own. One way to do this is to partner with, say, a handful of friends and go into it as a joint venture. Hopefully, some of you have real estate experience so that you can make sure the investment goes well. And another option that has become more popular over the last 10 years or so is something called a real estate syndication. Real estate syndication is simply investors, say tens or even hundreds of investors, that pool their money together to purchase a large property that they couldn't buy on their own. These are typically led by experienced real estate investors known as general partners or sponsors. And these folks are the ones that actually lead the entire investment from start to finish and have experience in running these kinds of properties. If you're wondering about what these real estate syndications are, I've created an entire playlist of videos which you can check out in a link in the description right below. Now, real estate investing does take probably more work than, say, researching a mutual fund or something like that. But it's definitely worth it because it diversifies your investments out of just stocks and bonds into something else that has a lot of long-term value. And if you're a busy professional, there are definitely ways to get involved in real estate investing without spending a bunch of time, which is probably your most valuable asset. Well, if you're wondering, that's great, Dan, I definitely want to get involved in real estate investing, but what are the benefits? Like, what am I going to get out of this? Well, I created a video talking exactly about this, which you can click on right here. Thank you for watching the Immigrant Wealth channel.